Hello everybody and welcome back to Operation Logistics, where I just discovered that I accidentally auto-saved over Road Corner. So let's go ahead and save this as... And we're going to save this as Road Bendy Junction. There we go. And now I'm going to undo everything that we've so far done that it'll let me do. There we go. And I'm going to save this as Road Corner. And then I'm going to open, and I'm going to open Road Bendy Junction. Okay, problem solved. Excellent. So we don't need any of these vertices right here. Nope, we need that one. But we don't need these vertices. There we go. And as far as this goes, that could be a problem. But we're going to have to fix that in a bit here. So first things first, this face right here, is that a face? Now it's a face. Okay, I thought it might be facing the wrong direction, but it wasn't. And actually, it doesn't need to be a face, so we can go ahead and delete the face there. And do that nonsense right there. And one thing I am wondering is this the correct distance? We do not have our edge length on 0.0578, and it should be 0.05. So it is not actually the right distance. Okay. So, what I'm going to do then, I think, is I'm going to go ahead and delete these four vertices here. I'm also going to delete this face, but not the vertices or the edges. Well, just the edges and faces, actually. And I'm going to extrude this down until it is the correct length, which we know the correct length. It should be 1.732. So I'm going to extrude this 1.732, although it should be 0.1732 negative. There we go. And now we definitely do not need this vertice, since we just replaced it, or this vertice. And we also know the exact distance we need this to be, and that's 0.05. So extrude 0.05, 0.05. There we go. Excellent. And then I'm going to just go ahead and delete that vertice as well. We don't need that vertice. And then I'm going to select all of this here, and go to Shading UVs, and recalculate. Excellent. Now we definitely don't need this face, or any of the faces down below, so I'm going to go ahead and delete those faces as well. And then we do need a face here, a face here, a face there. Okay. Now, as far as this goes, we don't actually want to be going straight down the way this is, so I'm going to go ahead and delete those vertices, and I'm going to extrude this up a little bit so that we can extrude this a bit less straight. And actually, we can just straight up get rid of these vertices at this point. We don't need them. These vertices here will be fine. I'm going to extrude them straight up so that we can extrude straight out, like so. And then I'm going to extrude this temporarily like this, and this temporarily like this, so that we can see where we actually need to be with these vertices. Okay. Actually, instead of extruding them that way, what if we extruded them this direction instead? Well, I don't think that would really work, per se. So realistically, the question is, where do we go from here? I'm going to undo that and put that back to where it is, right there. And what if we were to just do that, like so, and then just extrude this out to here, which should be the same distance as this, which is, if I can actually read it, 0.202. So extrude 0.202 negative. Then we can get rid of our top vertices here, and there we are. That's not quite exactly where it should be. That's okay. We can adjust it manually. So, actually, what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to extrude this back up over here. So I'm going to extrude this in the Z direction, grab these three faces, and extrude back out over this way. And then we can get rid of the vertices on top again. So essentially, we can now also get rid of this face. We will be replacing that face. However, we are going to need a guideline here as well as here. So we need that edge line. So let's go ahead and have that, and I'm just going to edge slide this to be basically right where we need it to be. It doesn't have to be exact, but having it very close is good. There we go. Perfect. Same thing here. Going to edge slide this right on in by double tapping G, and that'll do-ish. It's not exactly the right angle, I think, but it's close. So we can now get rid of these edges again. And do this, as well as this. Okay. So there's our junction there. And then we can create asphalt there. And there. And this is starting to look really nice. So I'm then going to do that, and then have a pair of triangles here. And then a pair of triangles, well, the same pair of triangles there. And then a triangle here as well. Same thing there. And then this can be a quad, and then this would be a triangle. This would be the same quad, and this would be the same triangle. Okay, so there we have our bendy junction. We can go ahead and get rid of the guides outside over there. And there we have it. So this would be a three-way intersection when all three are sharp corner distance. That's easy enough to calculate. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do our normal UV. We have 3 UV maps here. Let's get rid of one. Okay, so this needs to be a cube projection. And then for this, let's just go ahead and select all of our asphalt first. Nope, not that. That one. There we go. Okay. And also right down the center here. And go ahead and unwrap that. UV/image editor. Scale it on down, stick it in the asphalt area. There we go. Next, paint. Not you or you, but you and you. All of this and all of this. Okay, same thing here. Unwrap, UV image editor. Stick it in the paint section of the palette. There we go. And now for the curb section. There we go. Do we have anything under, any under faces we don't need? No, we do not. Fantastic. Okay. UV unwrap. UV image editor. Scale that on down. Place that in the curb area. There we go. So let's take a quick look at this in textured. We've got some issues here. These are not in the correct location. So in palette.ping, actually they should be there. Okay, it just didn't have the correct one selected for them, I guess. The UV maps are correct. They just, it just isn't defaulting to palette.ping for whatever reason. Okay. So that should do. So let's go ahead and create ourselves a prefab here. So here's our bendy corner, and let's go ahead and, for now, hide the subhexes while we create this. Create our bendy junction. There it is. It's a little on the big side. I suppose that's to be expected. So what are our values again? we can just copy this transform component here and then paste this. But let's go ahead and create an empty here, and this will be called Building Road Bendy Junction. There we go. Okay, so our road bendy junction can go in there, and then we will paste this, paste component values. There we go. This will be at 0, 0, 0. There we go. That looks correct. So there's our bendy junction. We'll go ahead and make a prefab here. And we can delete this, turn our subhexes back on. And then in our, we can close Blender at this point. In our sub-hex manager here, we can go ahead and create a new prefab up over here, which would be, I'm going to go ahead and make a new line here, public game object, and this will be road bendy junction. There we go. And then let's go ahead and assign that in our hex, in our sub-hex manager. Road bendy junction. Excellent. And then we can come on down here and say we need to determine if this is a junction or a bendy junction. So if we already know that they're not approximately equal, right? Actually, we don't. If it's a bendy junction, it will be approximately equal. Right? Because if we come into our subhexes here and take a quick look at the bendy junction, yes, I know there's an issue here. This is fine. We need to have our bendy junction out here. So our connected hexes are these three, and our unconnected hexes are these three. No, they won't be approximately equal. These two will be much greater, but their distance to their nearest one will always be the distance of a sharp corner. Actually, I kind of hate the fact that that's not lined up there. Let's see about fixing that, shall we? Road bendy junction. Yeah. Yeah, that's not cool. Let's slide this back until this distance is, what, about 0.5? Thereabouts. It's not correctly angled, but we can rotate it. Or we can just leave it the way it is. And then have this be about the same 0.5. Do I hate that? I might hate that. I don't know. Let's see it in game. That's certainly better. We have the same issue in the back, though, actually. So let's go ahead and have this also be about the same 0.5. Right about there. And then this about the same 0.5. I feel like this lane is now significantly larger. What is this distance? Hang on. 0.329. 0.329. And then this is also 0.329. Okay, that's good right there then. That's how it needs to be. It still feels like this is much smaller than this. What's this distance? 0.4249. It is. Okay. How can we make it even then? To where these are about 0.5? Or just merge them together? What happens if we just merge them at center? What does that look like? Merge at center. Merge at center. Oops, I minimized everything. Oh, okay. Let's bring everything back up here. That would help if I don't minimize everything. Okay, Alt-M rather than Windows-M. That tends to help. Merge at center. Okay, this is still a little bit longer over here. Also, I'm taking a quick look at what our mesh looks like here. Okay. It's still a little bit off. We could move it in this direction slightly, theoretically. Like, go like something like this. But even that, it's very close, like this. Let's go ahead and remove any doubles that might be there. There are not any. Excellent. And let's redo our normal UV map. Cube projection. Oh my. Okay. I think it might have lost its material for some reason. It did. That's kind of exciting. Let's remove palette.03 and make sure everything has palette. And then just assign the road. What is wrong here? Oh. One element, please. Road. There you go. Apply that. That's much better. I still kind of hate this. But we can come back and fix it another time. So I'm going to go ahead and leave the bendy junction the way it is. It'll have to do for now. I mean, ultimately we're going to want it to essentially have a straight line here, and then a straight line between the two of them or something, because that's kind of the way the rest of this is built. So we can fix it later though. So as far as the bendy junction goes, we know that these three are next to each other all the time. Our input and our unconnected are always next to each other. So how can we determine if it's a junction or a bendy junction? Well, if the distance from 0 and 1 is the same as the distance from 1 and 2, right? But we don't necessarily know that. Like, the distance to the nearest would always have to be the one chosen. So what we need to do is we need to figure out what our nearest one is from 0, and then say if the distance from that one to the other one is the same as the distance from us to our nearest, then it's a bendy junction. Otherwise, it's a regular junction. So let's go ahead and do an if here, but we're going to leave it blank for right now. And then right here, we're going to do some braces, and then else, and then we know that this is a junction and calculate rotation. There we go. We know this is a bendy junction. We don't know how we know that quite yet, but road equals bendy junction. And calculate. Wow, I really can't type calculate. Calculate rotation. Wow, rotation. There we go. Okay, so how do we know that this is a bendy junction? Well, we know that we know that unconnected hexes 0.transform.position is, well, we know that the three are next to each other. So 0 will be one of these, we don't know which one, and we can't say that they're always going to be the same distance. Sometimes they will be though, because if this one is 0 and this one is 1 and 2, then they will actually be equidistant. So we need to say if this distance is approximately equal, and actually that won't work. Okay, I need to reconsider this. So, for the bendy junction, the distance of them can actually be equidistant. Because if we are here, then the distance between these two. So what we actually need to do is we need to be determining a square distance c. So float square distance c equals unconnected hexes. We'll make this one be 2.transform.position minus unconnected hexes. We'll make this 0.transform.position square magnitude. Okay. So we'll make this 0, 1, 2, and we'll make this 2, 1, 0. Actually, we need to do this differently. Between 0 and 1, and then between 1 and 2, and then 2 and 1. So we need to make sure that everything is measured here. All three of our distances. So between 0 and 1, between 1 and 2, and then between 2 and 1. We don't actually need that. We need 2 and 0. There we go. So 0, 1, 2, 1, 2, 0. There we go. That's what we need. So if A and B are approximately equal, and approximately equal square distance A and square distance C within the same fudge, 0.0005f, then we know it's a y-intersection. Because if all three of them are equidistant, then it's a y-intersection. This cannot be all three equidistant because these two are not equidistant to each other. So, then we can determine with that information if all three of them are under the sharp turn distance, which is this distance right here. And actually, let's make this 0005 for our fudge. We might start hitting some floating point issues there, but I think we'll be okay. So, if our square distance A is less than... Okay, hang on. What am I thinking here? I'm thinking one of the distances is going to be equal to the bendy distance, and the other two are going to be equal to the lower distance. Because this is the corner distance right here. This here, both of those are the sharp corner distance. So square distance A, well, it could be any of them. So, I think we need a... We need int number of sharp corners and int number of normal corners. Okay, so if square distance A is less than 0.00, what distance was that? 0004f, then number of sharp corners plus plus. However, and we'll just initialize these at 0. However, this can also work for if square distance B is less than 0.0004f, or square distance C is less than 0.0004f. However, we need to check all of them, and this won't check all of them. So, we need to just go ahead and do them individually. If square distance A is less than number of sharp corners plus plus. If square distance B is less than, and then if square distance C is less than, need an additional 0 in there. Okay. This is not a way that I like to do this. And actually, I don't think we need to know the number of normal corners. So, if our number of sharp corners is equal to 2 with this, hypothetically, what is the junction looking like? That's the rogue corner sharp, that's the bendy junction. Which one is the junction? This one's the junction. Okay, so let's hide the bendy junction for now. The regular junction looks like this. So we know that this is not a sharp corner. This is a sharp corner. But this is not a sharp corner. Okay, so we know that if our number of sharp corners... If number of sharp corners equals 2, then this is a bendy junction. Otherwise, it's a regular junction. Theoretically. And then we just need to calculate our rotations. So let's go ahead and see if that actually works. I'm going to actually not just disable these, but full on delete them, and then turn on our subhexes again, so that we can actually see what's going on here. Okay, does this work? Those are not three-way junctions. Okay, so here we have a standard junction. Here we have a standard junction. I think that's correct. This is a bendy junction, which is correct. Okay, I think it works. Fantastic. Okay, it is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, and next episode, we will continue working on our junction rotations. See you all then.